I ranked the top 7 trading strategies. Let's get into it. The first one is going to be day trading. So day trading is interesting. You can see I have DJT up here. This is something that we talked about earlier on a live stream. Now I'm going to pull up one of my favorite day trading stocks, and that is LABU. What is this? It's a 3-time levered ETF. Now I need to preface this. 3-time levered ETFs are hard to trade. So they're for experienced people, but I show this to you because the trends and the candles are so nice. So let's scroll back here. This is just today. Now, importantly, this has an inverse. So you can't go short on LABU, but you can go long on LABD, which is the inverse. So memorize this chart right here. Okay. Now I'm going to type in LABD, and you see how it's almost exactly, it is exactly the opposite. So let's go back to yesterday. This is a great example of why day trading works. So the first thing we're going to look at, and the first thing you always look at, is the trend. If you have a trend, and in this case, we need to be in the sweet spot. The sweet spot for going long on a day trade is above this horizontal line, above 80%, between 80 and 100. We had that in the afternoon. The next thing that we look for, let me clear this out, is good volume. You notice you had good volume throughout the later part of the morning and into the afternoon, in the early afternoon, and then you started getting these engulfing candlesticks. So the idea behind the day trade is have a good stochastic, a good trend, have good volume, then have some sort of buy signal. Then you're in it. And when do you exit? Well, when you start to get this rollover here, or when the red line drops below 80%. Day trading can be so simple, but you have to use the trend, you have to use volume. You cannot just buy based on a price going up or down. Now, I did this for 2 straight years. It works very well. The downside to day trading, it is incredibly labor intensive. You have to be on your computer at all times. So if you enter a trade right here, you cannot leave your computer. You can't walk away. You're stuck on your computer waiting for this to happen, because things can happen very quickly when it comes to day trading, which is great. It's a great way to make money. It's just for the type of person that has the opportunity to sit at their computer. So if you're a person that, say, works in the field, it's going to be very difficult for you. If you're at a desk job where you can't just kind of have a second monitor and play on charts, it's not going to work for you. If you're a busy person that's not on a computer all the time, it's not going to work for you. But if you are the person that has the opportunity to sit on a computer, day trading is an incredibly lucrative way of making a second income, or just doing it full time. So for me, out of 7, I'm going to place this number 3 just due to that time commitment. So let's go on to the next one, which is trend trading. One of my biggest trading successes actually came from day trading. This was 2014, 2015, and that's how long ago I was actually just day trading full time. It was actually Lumber Liquidators. Lumber Liquidators was in a totally different format back then. There was the Chinese formaldehyde was in their flooring. The stock price was all over the place. I actually made 25% in one day. It was my biggest one-day win. And it's just, you can have those types of days. You can have those days where you just sit in something and the stock price just goes higher and higher and higher. So for me, due to the time commitment or the lack thereof that could fit your schedule, I'm going to put this at number 3. It's a great way to make a living. It's a great way to make a second income. It's a great way to just have fun, but you have to have that time commitment. So for me, this is number 3. Now let's go to another way of trading, and that is trend trading. This is a great way. I'm going to preface this one by saying it's a great way for somebody that doesn't have a lot of time in their schedule to trade. The great thing about trading is that there's a way for everybody to trade. It just has to fit your schedule. So for me, this is my favorite way. I love to be able to just log onto my charts for 10, 15, 30 minutes a day in total and say, all right, I can either add to my trade, not add to my trade, or just do nothing, which is mostly the case. And that's the beauty of trend trading. So this is long-term trading. The idea behind this chart is that you have a long-term stochastic. This is a weekly stochastic, so week by week. And let me compare it to the daily chart. You can see here, these candles are the exact same time frame on the right and left of the screen, but you can see how crazy the stochastic is down here on the right side because it's daily. It's moving on the daily trend. On the weekly, it doesn't move that much, which gives us the opportunity to make trades once and not really have to touch them again. So this is Starbucks. Starbucks to me is breaking down right now, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Here's a line of resistance or support. We're waiting for Starbucks to break down and kind of get below this area. Now, this isn't the best example right now, but you can see what the idea is. The idea is to get the stock when it's in the sweet spot and just let it ride. Let me show you a really good example of this. This is mRNA. mRNA, this is Moderna, was a stock that I was able to catch somewhere back in here. Now, the idea, remember, you're in the sweet spot for 3 days. We know that we're getting good volume. And now when do we participate in it again? Well, we don't have to until what? Until our red line eventually comes all the way back up here and crosses over into the sweet spot going in the opposite direction. So this is the beauty of the long-term trade. You can enter here, you can enter here, you can enter anywhere, wherever it could have entered here, and you just let it go. And just let it go, and you don't do anything. So this entry was in July, and we are still in it in January of 2025. July of 24, there's no reason for you to exit this. When a stock gets on the bottom like this, you're probably looking at this and saying, why is it just coasting down there? This is a dog stock. This is when there's nothing but negative sentiment just pushing down on the stock. No one's a buyer of it. Everybody's a seller of it, and they're just ignoring it. And as a stock goes on the bottom like this, what happens to the price? Well, the price just continues to go down, 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 down. You just had another 20% drop on Monday, 15% drop on Monday, whatever it was. It's a great way of trading because you don't have to be on your computer all of the time. As I said earlier, this is my favorite way of trading. This fits my lifestyle right now. I'm able to execute trades and just let them coast, and I'll check on them once a day, twice a day, just to make sure that nothing crazy is going on, and I move on. So for me, this is ranked number one. This is the best kind of trading because the person who's day trading, they can be day trading and doing long-term trading at the same time. And the person that is just busy all the time, you still have the opportunity to trade here because really all you need is 5 minutes a day. The next way of trading that we're going to look at is price action trading. Price action trading is, to me, is when a monkey sits there and poops in his hand and throws a bunch of poop at the wall and sees what sticks. And the idea is to make a lot of it stick. That's price action trading. What exactly does that mean? That's a little bit harsh, right? Price action trading is we see a stock price starting here at $7.30, and all of a sudden it starts going up. It's at $7.50. And because it's going up means that it's just going to keep going up. And we're just going to grab it because the price action, meaning what the price is doing, is just going higher and higher and higher. On the contrary, the price is coming down, therefore you just short it and just hope that it comes down. You are not paying attention to the volume that's happening in it. You're not paying attention to the trend that's happening, meaning which direction the buyers or sellers are pushing the stock in their respective directions. You are just going based off of price. You can go over to see the biggest gainers of the day on Yahoo Finance, meaning what stocks are up the most percentage points. And you know what? It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to just go and trade something because it's going up or it's going down. This is where trading gets the negative connotation. And I think trading has one of the worst connotations in the English language. You're going to hear so many people out there that say, well, trading doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work. If you're just seeing a stock price go up and you buy it, and you don't know why you're buying it or where it's going to turn, then no, it's not going to work. If you keep doing that over and over, it is not going to work. And that is why trading gets a negative connotation. Price action needs something else to go with it. You can't just use price action. For me, price action is the last type of trading that you should do, and I'm going to rank it down there at the bottom. So now let's look at swing trading. Swing trading is a great way of trading, and this, I'm going to say, is for the person that has some time in their day. Not to the extent of a day trader, but they have some time in their day that they can dedicate to sitting on a computer, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, and saying, you know what, I can pay attention to this. And I can do this for 5 to 10 days in a row. I could pretty much do this all the time throughout the work week is what I'm saying. So swing trading is you're using, remember when I compared the two charts earlier, this was the weekly. You notice that our stochastic doesn't really move much, but over here it does, and these are in the same time frame. Well, over here, our movement gives us the opportunity to make trades that last between, I usually say 1 and 10 days or 1 and 5 days. You can go longer than 10 days. You can go 2 days. It does, but I like to just the general between 1 and 10 days. Somewhere in there, you're going to execute the trade. This is John Deere, and I'm going back and I'm going to show you exactly what you can do. So earnings happened on John Deere, but what did you notice before earnings? Volume was great. Volume was even better in here. What was the trend doing? Let's say that earnings was not here. The trend was moving through the sweet spot. We still look for the same thing, moving through the sweet spot, and we just let it go, let it go, let it go. When do we exit the trade? Well, we can either exit rollover of the stochastic below yellow, or we can exit it right here. Whatever process you choose to stick with, there is some subjectivity to this. You go ahead and do that. And that goes for any type of trading. That doesn't have to do with swing trading or day trading. It has to do with any type of trading that you're going to do. Make sure that you're doing the same thing over and over if it works. Now, what are we doing here? Well, we buy on good volume. We buy when we're in the sweet spot. We buy engulfing candlesticks. And when do we sell? We sell when we start to get this rollover here. You can see that the price was coming down. You could have also sold here, and this would have been your exit point. You can see, though, you got to pay attention to this because the stochastic matters more here. You are going to get these fluctuations. You see these daily fluctuations that you get. That's why you need to be on your computer a little bit more than the average person, I should say. You probably need probably 60 to 90 minutes a day that you can sit on your computer between 9:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So for this reason, I'm going to rank this below trend trading, which is the long-term trading, but above day trading. So it's going to be ranked number 2. This is a great way for somebody to just start getting involved with trading. It's easier than it looks. There's a lot of stuff going on my screen right now, but it's easier than it looks. And once you get these patterns down, it's game over. Now, this next one is what I like to call end of day trading, because it's just that. You're going to go and look at stocks at the end of the day. So I'm going to pull up here the day trading chart, or the 15-minute chart. And I'm going to go through a lot of these different stocks. So let's look at this. When we talk about the beginning of the day, you have overnight trades that are settling. You have a lot of options trades that are settling. The market is kind of crazy for the first 30 minutes. Well, leading into the end of the day, you're having a lot of people that are buying going into the next day, or selling, getting out before the end of the day, which is a big rule when it comes to day trading. So if we look at the end of the day here on these charts, let's zoom out a little bit more. You can typically see that there's a surge that happens, usually to the top, at the end of the day. Look at this. Here was your 345 or 330 candle, and this was your 345 candle. Here was your 330 candle here, 345 candle. You got that surge. So you can see that at the end of the day, let's zoom in a little bit more so we can see these. Here was our 330 candle, 345, 330, 345. You can see at the end of the day, you get movement. This is a great way for a day trader to go in and say, you know what, I am just going to trade the 345 candle. I'm just going to trade that one single candle. Now, let's remind everybody, each one of these is 15 minutes. So this is 9:30 in the morning, 9:45, 10 o'clock, 10:15, all the way through the end of the day. This is the 345, 330, 315, 3 o'clock. So each one of these is its own 15-minute period. The idea is you go and trade the end of the day, which is a little bit more volatility to close out the end of the day. I implore you to do this, even if you're not going to do this. For the last 15 minutes of the day, just go to any stock website, pull up your Apple Stocks app, and watch the price fluctuation at the end of the day on any stock. You can come and look at NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, Meta, whatever. You're going to see a surge in one direction or the other more than in the middle of the day. And that's the idea. You can capitalize here and you can make a little bit of extra money. So for this reason, I'm going to rank this number 5 on my list. It's a great way to do it. But again, you have to be a day trader to do this. Do not do this if you are not comfortable day trading. Now, our next type of trading kind of hangs around with end of the day, but it's trading the news. So let's say that news happens. For example, I'm going to use mRNA here. This was an interesting one. So on Monday, January 13th, you see here, this was a 16.8% drop to close the day. And let's pull up the long-term chart. I just want to be a little bit more clean. You can see here that your stock price, once it got here, you just kind of moved up and down. You didn't really do anything. And then all of a sudden this happened, but there was no earnings. Look, there was no earnings or anything like that. There's no earnings over here. Why did that happen? Well, they cut their 2025 outlook overall. So you could have come in and said, well, this thing is dropping like a hot potato. I'm going to go trade the news. So mRNA would come over here and we would go to January 13th. And you can see here that the big move happened when? Well, it happened pre-market. Outlook was cut here probably 7 o'clock in the morning. Yes, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. And you didn't really get an opportunity to trade it during the day. So news, the point of me telling you this is news is not always going to be good to trade. Why? Because the move can happen pre or post market, just like earnings. This 20% drop happened before the market even opened. You can see this orange shading right here. That's pre-market. This blue shading is post-market. The black is during the market. You didn't really get a lot of movement during market hours. So this was not a good opportunity to trade the news. But let's say that this stock dropped 20%. And then all of a sudden, 10 o'clock came around, there was mRNA, a CEO spoke, and the stock price started to creep back up. Well, you could have absolutely come back in and traded that. You will see that a lot. A stock price just plummets or it soars, and then it comes back in the opposite direction later in the day. Trading the news can be fun, but it can be very, very risky because news can change like that in this market. Good news can turn to bad news, and bad news can turn to good news so fast that your head will spin. This is a form of day trading. To me, it's a little bit more risky and it's not for your trader that is not experienced. So for me, I'm going to rank this number 6 on my list, but it's a good opportunity for somebody that can sit at their computer all day, gets comfortable with trading big time volatility. You can make some money here. Now let's talk about range bound trading. So when we look at range bound trading, actually mRNA is a great example of this. You know what's a better example of this is Apple. I'm going to pull up Apple here. Apple is incredibly range bound right now. Now, what does that mean? So if we're just going to draw some lines here, let's draw a line on the top. You can see it's actually where the stock price is today. And then we can kind of draw this line on the bottom. See where it kind of just stays right there? So your range is right in here. Yes, you're going to pop out up on the top and bottom. You're going to pop out down here. That was earnings. It jumped it down and you crept above it for a little while. The market was just driving this thing higher. This was in the beginning of December. It kind of had that Santa Claus rally. But look where you're coming back to. You're coming back to the range that I drew, right? So why is range-bound trading fun? Range-bound trading is fun because you're able to determine where you buy and where you sell. So if we're in a stock, and let's say that we're over here and we're in this thing, let's go to a swing trading chart. This is more for your swing traders than your long-term traders. If you're in this, and let's say that you buy here, let's say that you buy right here, and you made money for a few days. Well, look at this. I actually didn't even see this candle till right now. Look at this candle right here. This candle, you ran up and you came all the way back down because why? It couldn't break above the top of that range. It told you when to exit the stock. It told you when to exit the stock. If you didn't get the opportunity there, you could have exited here and it fell back down. It told you when to exit the stock. Now, if you're on the bottom here, it's probably more in here. It's telling you if you're going short here, exit here. It's telling you to exit. Exit here. It's telling you to exit. Can it drop below? Absolutely. But odds are it's not going to. And if it does, it's going to bounce right back up. Or if you're coming along, it's going to bounce right back down. The beauty of range-bound trading is, well, first of all, you have to be able to identify the range. You have to be able to identify the range. So let's just zoom back and let's see. So let's say we can see a range here and kind of here. Yeah, that's about it. That was our range back there. You see, we poked below it a couple of times, but we always fell back into the range. Poked above it, always fell back into the range. Here you're doing the same thing. Here are your ranges. So if we're in this and we're going short, you need to exit by the time you get to $222, somewhere in that range. And when you're going back to the top, somewhere around $237. It's telling you when to enter and when to exit. And for that reason, I rank this number 4. I really like this. I put it behind my long-term trading, my swing trading, and my day trading because it always tells you where you need to enter and where you need to exit. So overall, my favorite method of trading is the long-term trend trading. Now, guys, this is where the community starts sharing ideas. If you just look here on the right side of my screen, this is our audience list for the live streams that we have. We have snow, Starbucks. I have notes next to all of these. These are all long-term trades. These are all long-term trades that really I will get into, and other community members will get into that. And the great thing is that being able to do it together kind of helps remove that emotional kind of nervousness that you have getting into a trade. So if you're a person that you have some experience with this, or you don't have any at all, and you're saying, I can't do this by myself, just from the emotional side, the community is a really great place to be. We do all types of different trades here. So if you're the person who has a 9 to 5, who doesn't have time to sit on their computer and day trade, well, we talk about swing trades that happen in there. We talk about those long-term trades. But if you're a person that also doesn't have to be in an office or has the opportunity to day trade, we make live day trades on the show too. I have a very active day traders that are always in the live stream chats. So I encourage you to join through the Patreon. The link is in the description below. This is going to give you the confidence to trade with the community, trade with us. Trading can be a very, very lonely place. And the reason for that is that there's just so much nonsense out there. You don't know what to believe, so you end up on this island on your own. We have a place where it works. It truly does work. I'm sure everybody says it works, but this does work. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've made millions of dollars. We have other people that are doing this for full-time jobs now. Guys, come join us. Give it a shot. 1 month. That's all I ask. You guys have a great day.